What if I told you the biggest problem in Formula One right now isn't Red Bull dominance, it's the 2026 cars that haven't even hit the track yet? Every single F1 team from Mercedes to Ferrari to the smaller teams is quietly struggling behind the scenes. And the scary part? Nobody is 100% sure they'll get it right. But why are the F1 2026 cars causing so much chaos? And what's the one hidden issue that could completely flip the grid upside down? Let's break it down. The 2026 F1 regulations are a total reset. The F1 2026 regulations aren't just small tweaks. This is a full reset. We're talking new engines, new aerodynamics, new fuel systems. Basically, teams are building cars from scratch. And that's a huge problem. Because in Formula One, success comes from refining, not guessing. But here's where things get interesting. When everything changes at once, even the best teams lose their advantage. That means teams like Red Bull can't rely on what made them dominant today. Everyone is back to square one. The engine change that's stressing teams out. The biggest headache? The new F1 power unit for 2026. These engines will rely much more on electrical energy, almost 50% hybrid. Sounds cool, right? But here's the issue. No team has fully mastered this yet. They're trying to balance power, reliability, and efficiency all at the same time. Imagine trying to build a car engine that's half petrol, half battery, but both sides have to work perfectly together at 300 km/h. Not easy. And this is where most people make a mistake. They think engines just make cars faster. But in 2026, the engine controls everything from energy deployment to race strategy. Energy management is the new battlefield. In current phone, drivers push hard most of the time. But with the 2026 cars, energy management becomes everything. Drivers may have to lift and coast more. Teams will need ultra-precise strategies just to stay competitive. Now this next part might surprise you. Some experts believe cars could actually feel slower on straights if energy isn't managed perfectly. That means races could be decided not by speed but by who manages energy smarter. And that's a completely different game. Aerodynamics are getting a major shake-up. Let's talk about aerodynamics, one of the biggest reasons F1 teams are struggling with 2026 cars. The new rules aim to reduce dirty air and improve overtaking. Sounds great for fans. But for engineers? It's a nightmare. Why? Because teams have spent years perfecting current aero designs. Now they have to throw that knowledge away. And this is where things get really tricky. The new F1 car design changes include active aerodynamics, meaning parts of the car can adjust during the race. That adds complexity, risk, and a whole new layer of unpredictability. Sustainable fuel is changing everything. Another massive shift, fully sustainable fuel. Now, on paper, this sounds like a simple switch. But in reality, it changes how engines behave. Different fuel means different combustion and different performance. Teams have to redesign engines to match this fuel perfectly. And if they get it wrong, they lose power, efficiency, and races. This is one of those hidden challenges most fans don't even realize. Smaller cars, bigger problems. The 2026 F1 cars are expected to be smaller and lighter. Which sounds like a good thing. But here's the catch. When you shrink a car, you also reduce space for components. That makes cooling harder, packaging tighter, reliability riskier. It's like trying to fit a supercomputer into a smartphone. Possible, yes. Easy, not even close. Time pressure is crushing teams. Here's something most people overlook. F1 teams don't have unlimited time to figure this out. They're racing against deadlines, budget caps, and regulations. And every wrong decision now could cost them years. Just look at past regulation changes. One mistake can lock a team into mediocrity for seasons. So teams aren't just building cars. They're making high-risk bets on the future. Even top teams are unsure. You'd expect teams like Mercedes or Ferrari to have this under control. Not quite. Even top engineers have admitted there's uncertainty, because no one has real-world data yet. Everything is simulations, guesses, and theories. And in Formula One, reality doesn't always match simulations. That's why 2026 could create unexpected winners and shocking losers. Why 2026 could reshape Formula One forever. So here's the big picture. The F1 2026 regulations aren't just about making cars greener or more efficient. They're about reshaping the entire sport. New teams could rise. Dominant teams could fall. And the gap between success and failure? It could come down to one decision made today. So remember that question from the start: why are F1 teams struggling with 2026 cars? Because for the first time in years, nobody truly knows what the perfect Formula One car looks like anymore. And that uncertainty is what makes 2026 one of the most exciting and risky eras in F1 history. If this helped you understand what's coming, you'll want to watch the next video where we break down which teams might dominate the 2026 season and which ones could fall behind. And if you enjoy content that makes F1 easier to understand, consider liking the video and subscribing for more.